It is time, much like Berry Market, for the world famous Forty20 live predictions. We'll be starting Super League on Thursday night as the league leaders, St Helens, back-to-back league leaders, travel to Warrington in a prelude of the preview of the Challenge Cup final in a couple of weeks' time. Gary's Cup.
Ding ding, that's for Warrington players and fans. Ding ding, round 2. It's St Helens on Thursday.
Sorry, the person just fallen off their bike listening to the podcast.
So, Warrington, well, as I say, after that defeat, Blake Austin not playing, St Helens, they'll just want to keep the momentum rolling. They know exactly what's happening in a couple of weeks' time, and they'll also want to put a marker down. They want to make sure they're consistent. I think that St Helens, Warrington forwards can't boss the Saints forwards. I think St Helens will win this quite easy. I'm going to St Helens by 16.
Warrington got quite close last time for 70 minutes. There was nothing between the teams. I just think that psychologically Saints will be saying this is as much about 2 weeks' time as it. We've already won the Shield. We know that you're in disarray form wise. We know that you're going to have some players missing. We're not going to worry about any of that. We want you to go to Wembley thinking we don't know how to beat this team. So I can't see Saints letting up on this. I know Lachlan Coote is still out, but I think Saints need a performance. The last couple of weeks, although they've won, it's almost like they've played within themselves in the semi-final and against Wakefield in the second half last week. I think Saints will give it all this week, and Saints by 12.
People get very upset at this part of the programme, which is always funny, for the reasons we put up. You do whatever we're not bothered, you know.
We don't have any malice against any particular team. It's like,
well, I do on one team, but we don't mention who they are, so it's all right. I've gone with St Helens to win because they are better than Warrington. At the minute, St Helens by 8. Don't need to expand on that. On Friday, there are 2 games in Super League, and I will be at one of them, and that is at Emerald Headingley Stadium as Leeds Rhinos take on what is left of the Catalan Dragons, who haven't been banned for dragging this sport in the dirt. These foreigners. What we tell you, put them in the league and see what happens. Gary Schofield.
Well, the Catalans, as you mentioned, Rich, it depends what side they're going to bring, but one thing for sure, Matty Smith will be playing, so there's no chance of winning. No chance of winning whatsoever because he's playing. So I say Leeds Rhinos now for the end of the season. They can't make the 5, but they'll be wanting to making sure, and again it's just up to the senior players. Finish well with consistency in performance from there, and yeah, the Leeds fans are desperate for a big performance on Friday night, and I think we'll get it. You know, Richie now is getting a tune out of the players. The players that seem to have got that smile back on their face. There's plenty of confidence, but the senior players again turn up on Friday night like he did last Friday at Huddersfield. I think the Leeds are going to win these easy. I think Leeds are going to beat Catalans by 24.
One of the performances that have put Leeds on the road to recovery, and they're not there yet, was at home to Catalan, it was about a month ago, when they actually played well for the full 80 minutes and won the game late on, which is something that they tended to lose games late on. The most important thing, I think, on last Friday night for Leeds was the 0. I think they'll work on the back of that. They know they can score points, and if the defence is as solid as it was last week against Catalan this week, who admittedly will have at least 5 players missing, then I think Leeds might mathematically secure their status in Super League with a 12-point victory.
I sent my tips for the media tipping competition last night, and I put Leeds by 2, and that was before all the players got banned. I'm still going to go with Leeds, but I'm going to go by a bit more now. I'm not going to change my tips for the tipping comp because I can't be bothered and I can't win. I'm going to go for Leeds to win this one by 10. I think it'll be an interesting game, and it is the game on TV. The game, I understand, which should be on TalkSport 2, is Wigan Warriors versus Hull Kingston Rovers. Gary Schofield.
Well, okay, I went there once around about 3-4 weeks ago, wasn't it? And
got towelled.
Yeah, expecting a little bit better from OKR, but anyway, but Wigan, they're in form, aren't they? And the big players are in form as well. So OKR have got bigger fish to fry, certainly at home in the next few weeks coming. Certainly Wakefield and London at home from there, and we're going to just play too good at the moment. I can't see them being a surprise from there. I'm not saying Hull KR will turn this up. You know, Tony Smith as a coach and with the senior players, you know, the attitude won't allow that. But when Wigan put 50 past them a few weeks ago, they were sensational. You know, and I can't see Adrian Lam looking for anything different to making sure that not just the performance, but he'll want a few points, because the points for the games could be pretty vital for that top 3 spot, or even second spot for Wigan as well, chasing Warrington. So he'll not just want a performance, but he will want plenty of points, and I think they will get plenty of points, to be honest with you, from there. I'm going Wigan by 36.
I think this is the flaw with loop fixtures. There's plenty of flaws with loop fixtures. In fact, there shouldn't be any loop fixtures. But the fact is, all of these games are a repeat of what we've seen about 4 weeks ago. Is ridiculous. I don't know how you sell them. I'm with you on this. I think Wigan under Adrian Lam will be looking at the next 2 fixtures till they get the break again for Wembley, and he'll be looking at catching Warrington.
Points and against,
and he's got Warrington next week, so he knows if he beats Hull KR this week and he can beat Warrington next week, they'll have the same number of, they could have the same number of points as Warrington. So I can't see Wigan letting up on the way they played last week. There was something miserly about them again, very Wigan-like in the way that they're playing at the moment, and I think that it'll have taken a lot emotionally out of Hull KR to win the way they did this week. I think they'll look at their fixtures and say, look, the week after that we've got a much bigger game, Wakefield. So I can see Wigan winning this maybe by 20 points, but I can't see that doing any damage to Hull KR long term.
People who just watch the predictions as a standalone video will see an extra chair there and that's empty and think, oh, you have Roy Hattersley on as a guest.
It was a yellow card for Danica.
There was a reference for the teenagers. Wigan will win this one. I've gone for a big score as well, and it's no disrespect to Hull KR, but I think they've got bigger fish to fry coming up, and Wigan are one of the form sides that we keep saying. Well, I keep saying they're going to win the grand final, and I said it facetiously before, but now I'm starting to believe it. And they will win this weekend by 24 points. There is one game on Saturday.
Yes, Saturday night. Why are they playing Saturday night?
I'm not working Saturday. I could go to games Friday, Saturday and Sunday night this week. I'm not going to. But I could do. Castleford Tigers take on the London Broncos. Scoey.
Yeah, Castleford Tigers, certainly Darrell, he wanted 7 from 7. He's not got it, has he? But after the Hull KR performance, he'll want a reaction. I guess Danny Ward as well will want a reaction. But when London went up there a few weeks ago, they didn't start out well from there, and at this moment in time it seems to be a bit of a problem for London, certainly for the first 40 minutes, whether they're playing at home or away at this moment in time. And Castleford want the reaction. They want to make sure that they're knocking on the door of the top 5 still. And I say Leeds got the Catalans from there, so he'll be looking again not just for the performance, he'll want plenty of points. There's only one winner here for me, that's Castleford Tigers, and I think it's going to be around about 26 points.
Darrell has to get a reaction from his team, because if they weren't to win this game, they're in danger of not making the 5, and that would be a disaster for them. He can't allow the likes of Catalans and Salford to get away from them. I think he will. Secretly, we've been absolutely livid with throwing that game away, and that's not to take anything away from Hull KR, who found a way to win it, but I think Darrell will be upset that if they're going to do anything this year, you can't keep allowing that to happen. So I think he'll want a massive reaction from his team. I think he'll get the hard word out there this week. I think the problem for London is again, it's a game that it's important because you've got to take form week in, week out, but it's not the 3 games at the end of the season that are going to determine whether they stay up or not. So I can't see Cass not winning this, and I'll say Cass by 12.
I thought I was going to go to this, but I won, A, because I can't be bothered, and B, because last time I went to go watch Cass at home, it took forever to get the post-match press conference, and that's the only reason I'd go there. Castleford let me down on Sunday by not winning at Hull KR. I hate Cass now, but I'm still going to tip them to win this one. It's all about the bottom of the table, I don't care. I'm going to tip Cass to win, and I'm going to go for Castleford by 18. Sunday, 2 games, and this is the one where we've already been told don't tip Salford, says Salford Killer 74 in the YouTubes. All the Salford fans are going to get very upset whatever happens, because if we tip them they'll get annoyed, if we tip them against them get annoyed, because they have got the thinnest skins of any rugby league fans in the country. But Dr. Kukas saying people tipped Salford to finish bottom. No, they didn't. Stop lying. Salford versus Huddersfield.
Well, I couldn't care less what you Salford fans think anyway, I'm tipping you. I couldn't care less. I'm going to tip you quite heavily as well, because on 2 points here when you look at both these sides, first of all, Huddersfield from last Friday, Wolford wants a reaction and he needs a reaction. It's simple as that. And he wanted the reaction when they played Salford. It was around about 3 or 4 weeks ago, wasn't it, again? So, and he got one. It was one of the best Huddersfield's best performances all season. He got one. And but also as well, Watson wants a reaction as well, not because of the way they beat London from there, the consistency. He wants a reaction the way that Huddersfield embarrassed Salford on that day as well. And what Walter said as well, they wanted it more than us. No team should come here and want it more than what we do. We should always want to win at home and create an atmosphere from there. And he'll be drilling that into his players. And I would imagine revenge will be a word as well. We want revenge on these because they embarrassed us, and that's what they did. And I think Salford, with the form of the hint, Lola here is getting a tune out of him from now. That combination between him and Ace is working nicely. The forwards are laying the platform from there, and I can only see one win here, and I think it's going to be quite easily because of the way Huddersfield battered him 3 or 4 weeks ago. So Salford fans, you're going to like this. You're going to like this, Salford fans.
Or not.
Not a lot.
You're going to like it, Salford
Paul
fans.
Daniels pop up now.
The Legends tipping it to beat Huddersfield by 34 points.
I think you're right on the revenge factor, but I also
What are you laughing at, Richie? It's 34 points, Salford.
I also think that if Catalan have lost on Friday night, then Salford know they can go back into the 5, and that's really important at this stage of the season. And I can't see them slipping up. I think as well as Huddersfield played at Salford the last time with a young and very enthusiastic team, Salford were complacent. They believed the publicity of having won the week before.
Yeah.
We're playing a team that we can easily beat, and I think Ian Watson's too good a coach to let that happen twice.
He won't let it happen twice.
And the manner in which they beat London says a lot about them at the moment.
Yeah.
So I can only go with Salford. I couldn't believe how disappointing Huddersfield were at home this week. Whether you thought they were going to win or lose, nobody predicted they were going to lose by 44 at home. That was a real capitulation towards the end, and I don't know how you turn that around. So I'm going to go Salford by 24.
Well done to Leeds for shutting up the cowbell on behalf of the rest of the nation who follows rugby league. When your club relies on marketing based on a bloody bell, there's something wrong. I may have given away who I don't like. I like Salford. I said I wear a Salford shirt on my show, and I will do eventually. I think Salford would win. I've gone for them by 2. But
Salford by 2.
But it could be like you said, Scotty. They've got a lot of factors in their favour to go out and actually obliterate Huddersfield at the weekend because of that game a few weeks ago. Because they played so well last week, they want to keep that run going. And Ian Watson's talking positively about a run in the top 5, and who knows what could happen if they make it into the top 5. So Salford by 2, but we'll see what happens.
Can I just add one point as well? It's like what I say with Martin Smith with Catalans. They can't win if Martin Smith play with Catalans, and the same with Huddersfield. If he picks Frawley this week, Huddersfield Giants have absolutely no chance.
We're definitely overstaying our welcome with you. Thanks for staying with us. Wakefield Trinity versus Hull FC. Oh,
I tell you what, this is the fixture of this weekend because both teams are desperate. Both teams are so desperate for a win. Wakefield at this moment in time, well, they're out with the washing, aren't they? They're out with the washing of Wakefield. You can't get a tune out of them. Can't Chris? And he's all right saying, well, yeah, we got a draw in the second half against St Helens. So what? Wowee, you got hammered in the first 40 minutes, and the black and whites, Radazzi, he's got a big problem there to get a smile back on the face on his best player in Jake Connor. So this is the fix of the weekend because both teams are so desperate. Would I say for a performance? I've got to say for a performance, but then also as well, desperate most importantly for the 2 points. So I'll tell you what, the way the both teams are playing, it's hard to call. It's hard to call, and I think whichever team is more desperate for the full 80 minutes is going to get this, and they've got the bloke when things are desperate, he comes up with some magic kick, doesn't he? So Mark Sneed, he's going to be the winner for the black and whites at the weekend. Danny Brough, he can't at the moment, he can't kick a cow's backside, can he? So he's totally out of form from there, so you would maybe say on his day he could be the match winner for Wakefield, but I think Sneedy's going to be the match winner for the black and whites, and in full time in 80 minutes I'm going to go the black and whites by a point. I can't separate them because they're both so desperate, and they're desperate for a performance and desperate for a win. I can only go the black and whites by a point. Mark Sneedy's going to be the winner again with a drop goal.
I think if Warrington have lost to St Helens on the Thursday, Hull know that at least in terms of points they can go level in second, which is their goal, having not got to Wembley. And I think that the fact that they went so close to Wigan so soon after that semi-final, both mentally and physically, what that took out of them, this is a game that I think Lee Radford will be saying to his players, if you're going to do anything this year, we can promise the supporters whatever we want, but if you are going to do anything, you've got to win this game.
Yeah.
I just don't know what Wakefield... I think Hull will have a new back rower from New Zealand Warriors in as well in time for the game. I don't know what Wakefield can do unless they can get a couple of players on board. And it'd be very interesting if they do get Chris Green as opposed to James.
Yeah.
Whether Hull will allow him to play against them. Again, I don't think this is a game Wakefield can win at the moment. I think their form is too poor. I think there are games that they can win that might salvage their season, but this isn't one of them. I don't know if Jacob Miller will be playing. He's one of the latest to be out injured. I'm going to go Hull by 8.
I picked the same number. Unless, of course, because by the time you watch this, all the transfers may have been made. Still hoping perhaps Jonathan Thurston comes in. More likely to get JT from the bloody Castleford Tigers mascot. Hull by 8. I don't know. That's that. We're done. We've gone way over time. But
blame Danica.
Yeah, we don't care. She was great, wasn't she? And proof positive that there are plenty of people out there in rugby league who can speak about the game and speak well about the game who aren't being used enough in the mainstream media. But there you go. We'll get her back on if she wants to come back. I don't know.
I thought you were talking about me, huh?
Well, it goes without saying, doesn't it? Goes without saying.
And I think she gave us a perspective on an area of the game that we don't normally get. So I was grateful for her to be here.
If you don't like it, go to something else. We always say, because it's true. We'll be back with you on Monday. I think Mark's back on Monday. So it'll be the usual 4 as ever, talking about everything in the world of rugby league. Just behave. So we don't need to say to these people, do they? You'll all behave anyway, but all the other people.
If you know anybody who doesn't behave, tell them to behave.
Tell someone. See it, stamp it out. Whatever it is. Good night.